Hello, Maddie here. Welcome back for another week, another book here on my channel. Or if it's your first time, welcome. This is a channel where we rant and rave about all things books. Lots and lots of opinions on books, and a lot of books make me think about a lot of things in life. So these are very vaguely book reviews, but more often than not, it is books that made me think, or this book triggered this thought, so I need to talk about it. This week we're talking about Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. That is a sigh of dejection, not a sigh of contentment or happiness. It is a sigh of, I knew this day was coming, I would eventually have to talk about this book, so I hope you're ready. Wuthering Heights is a wild, passionate story of the intense and almost demonic love between Catherine Earnshaw and Heathcliff, a foundling adopted by Catherine's father. After Mr. Earnshaw's death, Heathcliff is bullied and humiliated by Catherine's brother Hindley, and wrongly believing that his love for Catherine is not reciprocated, leaves Wuthering Heights, only to return years later as a wealthy and polished man. He proceeds to exact a terrible revenge for his former miseries. The action of the story is chaotic and unremittingly violent, but the accomplished handling of a complex structure and evocative descriptions of the lonely moorland setting and the poetic grandeur of vision combine to make this unique novel a masterpiece of English literature. Did that make sense to you? You're gonna have to now go Google half of those words. Let's see. We're going to need to Google Foundling, Unremittingly, Evocative. There you go. There are some words for you to look up. That's just a wild summary. I'm sorry. I'm reeling a little bit. The gist of the story is, they grow up. Kathy loves Heathcliff. They don't know. He leaves because he's bullied. He comes back and they are, I think at least she's already with somebody else. One of them, I think, is already married to somebody else, or in the process are already engaged or has their eye on someone. But they turn love into a form of torment. Truly. They marry other people to rub it in each other's faces, how happy and in love they are with this other person, when they just used this other person, and one of their spouses maybe dies and the other one realizes that they're being used. And so I kind of want to go off on that a little bit more than that Kathy Heathcliff tangent, because I'm so tired of that tangent. We are aware that they are a terrible couple. They are mean to each other. Their love looks more like hate than love, and they just ruin everything that they touch. One of the things I only briefly mention in this blog, but it's maybe triggering something in my head. And I don't know if it's one of those things where it's I don't know if this actually happened in the book, but I wrote about it, and so now I want to talk about it. But the people that accept a relationship because they love the other person so much, and they think that their love is enough to make the relationship work. Like I said, I think maybe Catherine's husband dies, never knowing, and Heathcliff's wife catches on, and is you've never loved me. You don't love me. You've never loved me. You've only ever loved her. You've only ever used me. That might be switched. That might have not happened at all. Maybe I'm making stuff up. I don't even know. I read this book once in college for a class. It's the only reason I finished it, because it's so terrible and it made me so upset reading it. And I just hated basically every minute of it once I realized what was going on. But this spouse that basically has their eyes opened, they realize that their love cannot make up for the fact that their spouse does not love them. I feel like I'm seeing more and more both examples of real life with my friends and with more kind of TV shows, especially. Not so many books, but definitely TV shows. I feel like I'm seeing it more of a person. It's always the, secondary love interest who thinks that they can love that person enough to make them love them, to kind of bridge the gap between the main couple maybe, or the main character loving this other person. They can be but I love you so much that I can make it work. And that feels true for a little bit. But after a while, it just gets exhausting. Loving somebody so much that does not feel the same. They might like you. They might just tolerate you. They might be well, it's too much work to do something different. That's not okay, and you deserve better. These characters deserve better. They may be this secondary love interest, but they also deserve love. Just because they haven't been written as the main character does not make them less worthy or deserving of these things. This book kind of just a little bit put that in my face. That is one of the main things that made me so upset about this book. Kathy and Heathcliff can make themselves miserable, and that's fine. I don't really care. They're just doing it to themselves. I was more upset about the fact that they got married to people that could have had lives with somebody who actually cared about them. That is what truly, truly made me upset about this book. Because, like I said, Kathy and Heathcliff are terrible, and they're terrible to each other. And their love gets totally soured and just like darkened in their hearts. But it's the fact that they bring other people into their mess that made me so frustrated and upset. Because it's like, what if I had married somebody that was actually in love with somebody else and I was just a placeholder? How much would that hurt if they were just like, and it's too much work to find, somebody I actually love. You're good enough. How much would that hurt for a person that just wouldn't put in the effort because they didn't actually view me as worthy of their love? That's terrible and completely unacceptable. A lot of people know their worth, but I know people that have just been so beaten down by people telling them they are not worthy, that they are lesser than, that they accept less than what they actually deserve. And like, that's not okay. That's not okay. It's not acceptable. You are worthy of being loved as you are. You're worthy of being loved for who you are as a person, and you're worthy of being so much more than a placeholder or a stopgap or a good enough. You're worthy. You're worthy. And no romantic interest can tell you otherwise. And that makes me mad. If you truly want a ranting and raving about Kathy and Heathcliff and how annoyed they make me, you should watch my best and worst literary couples, because the nice thing is you also get the best literary couples. So it's not just like a doom and gloom video. You get the pros and the cons. You get the super passionate Maddie about my couples. And right now I don't know, I'm feeling, talking about this has just made me very upset for other people, because it's not like, I have loads of people in my life that I feel like are going through this, but I know enough people that either have or are going through this. I also can't love them enough to make them see that worth, because especially a spouse, they hold a special power in your life and over, your heart and your love. In a perfect ideal world, that's how it should be. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be that way, because we don't live in a perfect ideal world, but like, that's why you pick your partner carefully. Somebody who is going to protect your heart, who's going to guard your heart, who's going to just hold it with care. And they are going to come to you and say that I love you, all of you. I love your good days. I love your bad days. I've been like super stressed with work, especially I've just been super, super busy time. So like working through lunches and still feeling like and still just having super long to-do lists the next day and just feeling like I can't catch my breath. So I've been like a little bit of a tyrant at home. I have not been the most loving. I've not been the most kind. But I have a husband who, he will likely watch this video, who is so loving to me, who I spew venom and he turns it into, how can I care for my spouse? What can I do to help lessen her burden, so that I can be a pleasant person to be around, not for himself, but because he wants me to be enjoying life. He doesn't want me to be stressed out. He wants to do these things for me. And that's literally the difference between like Kathy and Heathcliff and a healthy couple, because you're allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to have bad moments. You're not allowed to be mean, but like, you're allowed to not be your best all the time. A really great spouse will love you anyways, will care for you anyways, will not allow you to, one, push them away, but two, will not respond negativity with negativity. They're not going to say, oh, well, you were mean to me, so now I'm mean to you back. And that's exactly what Kathy and Heathcliff represent to me. And I think that's partially why I don't like them so much, is because not only are they just like, terrible couple, but it's like, I get genuinely worried that people will read these books and say that's an acceptable form of love. It is acceptable for me to be mean to the person I love, expect meanness back, and feed off of that, and to continue to be cruel to them. Partially why I don't like them so much is because I genuinely worry about the effect that they are having on people's minds and mentalities around what a true partnership looks like, what true love looks like. That makes me genuinely nervous and scared. And I'm so grateful that I have amazing examples in my life that are totally the opposite. Not only my own marriage, but my parents, my in-laws, my siblings, so many wonderful marriages around me and partnerships around me that are the hope that we can see so much negativity and we can still have strong, stable, loving, kind relationships. I said I didn't want to talk as much about just how they're terrible people, because they're terrible people, but I wanted to talk more about the secondary people that are affected by their negativity, but then also the real world examples of accepting a Kathy or a Heathcliff in your life and thinking that that's okay or that that's good enough, because it's not. That was definitely a little bit more of an emotional one, kind of on accident. I hope that y'all are good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me talk about all these things, especially talking about a classic that a lot of people love that I cannot stand. Thank you for just allowing me to be myself, have my feelings, and talk about books. So with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, sit down.